Imagine running for your life to escape a dangerously obsessed, toxic boss. Secretary Yunwoo was pushed to her absolute breaking point. She fled to a quiet, rural town to hide, thinking she was finally safe. But instead of peace, she runs straight into the arms of Sung-hyun. He is a terrifyingly cold, broad-shouldered executive known for destroying anyone in his path. But the moment this ruthless villain lays his striking eyes on her, his frozen heart completely melts. He becomes her ultimate, seductive shield, and she is going to need it. Because her psychotic ex-boss just realized she's missing, and he is hunting her down to drag her back to hell. Will she survive? This is villain's pure love. Rain pours from a gray sky, blanketing the city and the police station in a somber mood. Inside, an officer casually reviews Yunwoo's written statement, his words striking a deep blow. He warns her that she could be countersued for false claims, dismissing her struggles as an overreaction to Yun-suk's intense affection. As her last hope crumbles, Yunwoo stares ahead, her expression hollow. Defeat washes over her as she thinks to herself that 5 lawyers were, indeed, far too much for her to handle all on her own. In the pouring rain, a red car brakes sharply beside Yunwoo. The door swings open, and a man's silhouette steps out. Her eyes widen in pure terror as she recognizes him. Panic grips her, and her mind screams. She turns to flee, but a hand clamps down on her shoulder, stopping her instantly. Yun-suk leans in, his face uncomfortably close. "Where do you think you're going?" he whispers, claiming he was the one who stopped the lawyers from suing her. Rain soaks Yun-suk's hair as a chilling smile plays on his lips. He warns Yunwoo there won't be a second chance, his voice a low whisper as he promises that the only way he'll ever let her go is when she leaves this world. He commands her to simply accept that he is the only man in her life. "Come to work tomorrow," he says, waving casually before getting into his red car. The door clicks shut, leaving Yunwoo frozen in the downpour. She glances down at her phone as a notification appears. Low battery. The recording will stop. The low battery warning flashes across Yunwoo's phone, the recording now lost. A single thought cuts through her terror. She has to escape. Clutching her umbrella, she walks through the downpour, determined to find a place where he can't reach her. She quickly packs only the essentials and boards the earliest bus out of the city. Just as the bus pulls away from the station, her phone chimes. A chilling message from Yun-suk appears, boasting that finding her is nothing. Fear floods her expression as she deletes his words. The glittering city lights fade as the bus carries Yunwoo into the rainy darkness. She knows this massive city can't help her. Her only path to freedom is to evaporate completely, to vanish just as he threatened. The scene shifts. On a quiet, misty road, the spring rain has finally stopped. Inside a car, a man named Nam Tae-jin, the president of Seoliang Construction, breathes a sigh of relief. He comments on how worried he was that it would rain during the ceremony. He turns to the man beside him. "Don't you agree, Sung-hyun?" Sung-hyun doesn't look up, his sharp eyes focused on the documents in his hands. Sung-hyun finally speaks, his voice low as he agrees it's a relief. As the executive director of Seoliang Construction, his focus is absolute. The project began with a surprising discovery: hot springs in Moksangun. Seoliang Construction moved fast, purchasing the entire area to build a massive resort complex, complete with an amusement park and golf course. Sung-hyun drove the ambitious plan from start to finish. Thanks to his leadership, the company shed its second-place status, overtaking its rival to become number 1, a victory symbolized by a shining golden trophy. President Nam Tae-jin's triumphant laughter echoes in the car. He savors their victory, gloating that their rivals must be sick with jealousy, even branding Sung-hyun a ruthless mastermind for his uncompromising strategy. Sung-hyun's sharp eyes finally lift from his documents, his expression unreadable as he dismisses their anger as hilarious. The mood shifts when Tae-jin asks how long he'll be staying. Sung-hyun's reply, "About a month," instantly sobers the president. Sung-hyun calmly explains that overseeing the project's crucial early stages is non-negotiable, solidifying his extended stay in the quiet countryside. With the day's business concluded, Sung-hyun's convoy begins to move. The 2 black sedans travel down a quiet country road as evening settles, their taillights glowing in the dusky light. Suddenly, the sharp squeal of tires echoes through the air as the lead car brakes hard. An overhead view reveals the reason. Yunwoo stands alone on the roadside, a small suitcase beside her. Inside the second car, the driver apologizes frantically for the jolt. Unfazed, Song-hyun simply asks what happened. The driver explains that the president's car stopped and he thinks he splashed water on a lady, causing Song-hyun's gaze to drift out the window. Through the thick evening fog, Song-hyun's gaze lands on the lone figure. He watches as President Nam Tae-jin's driver gets out and scolds Yeon-woo for standing so close to the road. Splashed with dirty water, she looks down, quietly explaining she mistook the car for the bus. The man dismisses her, pushing money into her hand for the trouble. Just then, the setting sun breaks through the haze, bathing Yeon-woo in a warm, ethereal glow. The world seems to fall away, and Song-hyun's focus narrows solely on her. He observes that she doesn't look like a local, his mind turning over a silent question. Is she leaving or returning? The driver's voice rises, sharp and impatient. "Did you not hear me?" he yells, accusing her of wanting more money. Yeon-woo flinches, her body trembling uncontrollably. His shouting triggers a wave of panic, a suffocating feeling that makes it hard to breathe. Just as her composure shatters, a deep, steady command cuts through the tension from inside the car. The door opens. Polished shoes meet the pavement, and Song-hyun emerges, his tall frame a sudden shield. Yeon-woo looks up, her breath catching as he stands before her, his hands tucked in his pockets. Song-hyun turns his sharp gaze to Yeon-woo, his voice steady as he apologizes for the trouble his staff has caused. Flustered, Yeon-woo insists it's fine, claiming she was the one being careless and doesn't need an apology. Her eyes fall to the ground, noticing the stark contrast between his pristine leather shoes and her own worn, dirty sneakers. Unfazed, Song-hyun takes out a business card and jots down a note. He explains she can find a specific department store in a nearby region, offering her the card to replace her things. Yeon-woo stares at the card, his words echoing in her mind. A payoff. Her heart stumbles. Nearby, Song-hyun's staff gawk in disbelief. He's just handed her an unlimited credit card. As Song-hyun turns to leave, one of his men rushes forward to apologize, but is silenced. With an unnerving calm, Song-hyun plucks the company pin from the man's suit. His voice is ice as he instructs his employee to hand over the car keys upon their arrival, leaving no room for argument. The air crackles with his quiet, unshakable authority. Song-hyun walks away, his authority absolute, leaving his subordinate to bow in his wake. He coolly states they need to ward off bad luck. Later, in the quiet of her home, Yeon-woo thinks about her mother, who had to work because of important visitors from Seoul. A pang of regret hits her. She only wanted to see her mom's face for a moment. Her gaze falls upon a work uniform, and her eyes fix on the name tag. A name, Do Myong-jae, sparks a sudden, chilling recognition. Wait, she thinks, her mind racing. That name. The pieces click into place. Do Myong-jae is connected to Seoul Construction. Yeon-woo's eyes widen as she remembers Song-hyun's name. He's the important visitor her mother mentioned. The realization sinks in, but it's quickly overshadowed by a cold dread. Yoon-suk will find this place soon. A sudden, sharp ring from the telephone shatters the quiet. She answers hesitantly. A memory flashes, unwanted and chilling. The man who would become her tormentor, smiling on their first day, saying he hopes they get along well. The air grows heavy with the memory. The memory rushes back, sharp and unwelcome. It was her first meeting with Yoon-suk. In the office, whispers spread like wildfire. The new vice president was the chairman's son. Pulled from her work, Yeon-woo is told she's been reassigned as his secretary and must report to his office immediately. A knot of confusion tightens in her stomach. She was just getting settled in her role. Standing before the imposing door, she raises a trembling hand and knocks. The door swings open, bathing her in the light from within as her life changes forever. In her memory, Yoon-suk sits behind the vice president's desk, a disarming smile on his face as tattoos peek from his sleeves. He asks her to take care of him, but a tremor runs through Yeon-woo. The memory fractures, revealing his true nature. Arrogant and prone to fits of rage, he had no interest in work, only in rowdy nights with questionable company. His unsettling gaze eventually turned into relentless torment. The memory dissolves, leaving only the sound of his chilling voice on the phone. Yeon-woo, I know you're at home. A terrifying memory flashes through Yeon-woo's mind. She sees Yoon-suk pounding on a door, his voice echoing with rage. She jolts back to the present, hands gripping her head as she trembles. On her phone screen, his chilling messages glow in the dark, promising to find her. Suddenly, the landline phone shrieks, piercing the quiet room. Her heart hammers against her ribs. It can't be him. She forces herself to stay calm and picks up the receiver with a shaking hand. But the voice on the other end is gentle. It's her Auntie Jia-young. Yunwoo's blood runs cold as her aunt exclaims, panicking through the phone, that her mother is hurt. The words barely register before she's racing through a stark hospital corridor, her heart pounding in her ears. She bursts into the room, calling out in a panic. But her mother is sitting up in bed, surprisingly calm, explaining she simply missed a step on the stairs. Relief washes over Yunwoo, but it's short-lived. Her mother's gaze turns inquisitive, asking why she's home so suddenly. Caught off guard, Yunwoo quickly lies. I'm just on vacation. Yunwoo's mother struggles to sit up, but Yunwoo quickly rushes to her side, urging her to stay still. She reminds her that the doctor warned she can't move for months. But her mother is frantic, insisting she has to get back to her job at Do Myong-jae. They don't wait for people to heal, she says, her voice strained with worry. She explains she'll lose her position if she can't find a replacement. A sudden stillness falls over Yunwoo. Mom, she says, her voice steady, I'll go. I can be your replacement. A wave of certainty washes over Yunwoo. She has finally found a place to hide. Far away, in a darkened office overlooking the city, Yoon-suk stands with his phone pressed to his ear. The call to Yunwoo goes unanswered, met only by a cold, automated voice. Rage contorts his features. With a furious roar, he hurls the phone, and it shatters into 1,000 pieces. A chilling, possessive smile twists his lips as he runs a hand through his hair. He seethes, his thoughts consumed by her defiance. You dare run away from me? Loud banging shatters the night's silence as a man relentlessly pounds on an apartment door. Ji Yunwoo, come out, he yells, his voice laced with aggression. When no one answers, he punches a code into the digital lock and shoves his way inside. The apartment is dark and empty. His face contorts with rage as he calls her phone, only to be met with voicemail. Damn it, he roars, sweeping everything from a nearby surface. Items crash to the floor as he bellows. How dare you run away from me? In the empty apartment, Yoon-suk leaves a voicemail, his voice dripping with false concern. He asks if Yunwoo simply went out for air, feigning worry over her sudden disappearance. It's all my fault, he murmurs, but his expression twists into a chilling, predatory grin. His eyes glint with menace as he finds her graduation photo, his hand clenching and crumpling the image. Go ahead and hide like a rat, he snarls into the phone, making a dark promise. I will find you. The scene shifts to a tranquil, traditional estate as a new name appears, Do Myong-jae. The historic Do Myong-jae estate, a proud cultural landmark once belonging to Sung-hyun's family, stands serene and imposing. Yunwoo arrives at its massive wooden gates, looking small before the storied walls. A sharp voice from a security intercom cuts through the quiet, demanding to know who she is. Startled, she nervously explains she has an appointment with Director Moon. After her identity is confirmed, the heavy gates slowly swing open. She steps into the secluded sanctuary, a mix of apprehension and hope flickering in her eyes. A profound sense of relief washes over Yunwoo as she takes in the sprawling estate. This place feels safe, a private kingdom where no one can find her. Inside, she sits across from the stern Director Moon Okirai. The older woman's gaze is sharp as she confirms Yunwoo's intention to take over her mother's position. The director formally asks for her name and age. When Yunwoo answers that she is 29, Director Moon remarks that at her age, she must have accomplished a lot. The air feels heavy with unspoken judgment. Director Moon's gaze is like ice. She states that no matter how desperate they are for help, they can't simply hire anyone. The job posting closed long ago. Turning to leave, she dismisses Yunwoo, advising her to let her mother focus on her health. Panic seizes Yunwoo. Then what about my mother? She cries out. In a desperate surge, she grabs the director's arm. The older woman forcefully pulls away, her expression hardening with disapproval. She adjusts her glasses, her voice firm as she repeats that the answer is no. Director Moon's voice is sharp as she tells Yunwoo that tantrums are useless here. Glancing at Yunwoo's delicate wrist, she scoffs, questioning what kind of work she could possibly do before ordering her to leave. Utterly defeated, Yunwoo's hope evaporates. At that same moment, under a bright sun, fireworks burst into the sky. At the Seoul-yong resort groundbreaking, Sung-hyun commands the stage. Clad in a perfect suit, he lifts a pair of golden scissors to the ribbon as camera flashes ignite the air, embodying a world of untouchable power. Under a canopy of white blossoms, Nam Yoon-young, the CEO of Seolyong Group, compliments Sung-hyun on the successful event. They walk together as she reminisces, explaining that his mother adored magnolias, and his father planted every tree out of pure devotion to her. Sunlight filters through the branches, casting a warm glow, but a shadow passes over Sung-hyun's handsome features. A pensive sigh escapes him as he reflects on how even the heavens can be heartless. The warm, sunlit memory fades, replaced by the cold, relentless sight of rain streaming down in a dark city. A sudden, tragic memory shatters the calm. The jarring impact of metal as a car collides with a truck on a rain-slicked road. The scene shifts to a somber memorial hall, where a young boy stares at two funeral portraits, his parents. His aunt holds him tight, her cries echoing in the quiet hall. A single tear escapes his eye as he looks up, his voice small, asking why they are there. Back in the present, Nam Yoon-young apologizes for bringing up the painful memory. Sung-hyun dismisses her concern, his expression cold and unfeeling. Just then, a manager approaches, reporting an unexpected injury has created a job opening. As the manager discusses an employee matter, Sung-hyun's attention is suddenly captured by a lone figure. Bathed in soft sunlight, Yeon-woo stands with a heavy heart, her expression vulnerable and lost. The manager identifies her as the injured worker's daughter, simply there to deliver a note. Weighed down by doubt and believing there's no other choice, Yeon-woo turns to leave. Suddenly, a deep voice stops her, pointing out she's walking away from the exit. She freezes, her world coming to a quiet halt as she slowly turns to face him. The world goes quiet. Yeon-woo stands frozen, her wide eyes locked on the man before her. His voice is calm and steady as he offers to help her. "If you're lost, I'll help you." Flustered, she takes a panicked step back, her foot slipping on the uneven ground. She loses her balance, a small gasp escaping her lips as she falls. Suddenly, a strong hand catches her wrist, pulling her forward and into his arms. The air crackles as they stand impossibly close, his gaze intense. "Oh," he says quietly, "we've met before." The world blurs into a soft, golden haze as Yeon-woo looks up into Sung-hyun's intense, piercing eyes. A blush creeps across her cheeks, her heart fluttering from their sudden closeness. His gaze is sharp and unwavering. Breaking the charged silence, Sung-hyun asks what brings her to this place, his large hand gently taking hold of her arm. Yeon-woo quietly explains her business. He presses, asking if she is finished. She hesitantly agrees, and he steps closer, his presence commanding as he questions if she truly said everything she needed to. Yeon-woo fidgets with her hands, her mind racing with the request she's desperate to make. She opens her mouth to speak, but the words catch in her throat. A warm, golden light bathes the scene. Sung-hyun's gaze remains steady and surprisingly patient. "Take your time," he says, his voice calm. But she knows it isn't time she needs, it's courage. Defeated, she turns to leave. Just as she takes a step, he pivots, his tone sharp. He asks if her business is truly finished now that she's taking her shame with her. Her cheeks flush with heat as she averts her gaze, unable to meet his intense stare. "Yes, it's finished," Yeon-woo murmurs, the words feeling like a surrender. Turning her back to him, she whispers a quiet goodbye and walks away. Sung-hyun stands alone, his expression unreadable as he watches her leave against the backdrop of the setting sun. Suddenly, the world dissolves into a terrifying darkness. A cold, menacing voice echoes, vowing to find her and make her regret running away. Shadowy hands grasp at her, and a silent scream of pure terror escapes her lips. A terrifying voice echoes in the darkness, promising to only let her go when her time runs out. Shadowy hands grasp at her, pulling her deeper into a suffocating memory. "No," she cries out in her sleep. With a gasp, Yeon-woo jolts awake, her heart pounding. Shaking, she sits on the edge of a bed, tears streaming down her face as a single, desperate question haunts her mind. Will she ever truly be free? She collapses into sobs, but a new resolve hardens within her. This can't go on. She has to live. A rooster's loud crow shatters the morning silence. Startled from sleep, Sung-hyun sighs, thinking he won't need an alarm for a while. As he gets dressed, his thoughts drift to his encounter with Yeon-woo. He remembers pulling her close, his intense gaze searching her face. It wasn't just at the bus stop, she had realized, but here too, in a private residence. He held her firmly, the space between them charged with an unspoken warmth, her heart fluttering at their sudden closeness. As Sung-hyun adjusts his tie, a small, knowing smirk touches his lips. The memory of Yunwoo, the unexpected warmth that flared between them, is indeed unusual. He steps out into the main hall, his polished shoes echoing softly. A line of household staff bows deeply in perfect unison. Good morning, Executive Director. At the dining table, an elaborate breakfast is laid out. The staff watch anxiously as he takes the first bite. The head housekeeper explains they will prepare all his meals personally, a fact that highlights the stark contrast between his structured world and this simple town. Song-hyun dismisses the formal breakfast, assuring the head housekeeper that he'll eat simply with the staff. She objects, insisting that his well-being is their highest priority. A nervous whisper breaks the silence as one staff member frets about keeping Yunwoo waiting. Catching the hushed exchange, Song-hyun's gaze sharpens. "What's going on?" he asks, his tone firm. After a failed attempt to brush it off, another woman anxiously explains that the injured employee's daughter has been waiting since dawn, insisting she has something urgent to say. Without hesitation, Song-hyun's voice cuts through the room. "Let her in." The head housekeeper grabs his arm, protesting that he is far too busy for such trivial matters. But Song-hyun is unfazed, taking a slow sip of tea. His icy gaze settles on her. "You have a talent for making people repeat themselves," he says, his patience wearing thin. He makes his decision final. "I'll hear what she has to say myself." Turning away from the flustered staff, he walks down the long hall, his mind already on Yunwoo. Sunlight streams down the hall as Song-hyun walks, his mind set. He needs to hear her story directly, a sudden, undeniable impulse. Meanwhile, Yunwoo stands outside a heavy door, her breath catching in her throat. Fear for her family, the certainty that Yun-suk could find them, overwhelms her hesitation. The door glides open, and she is ushered in. The room feels like a secluded castle, a world away from her troubles. A sense of warmth and safety envelopes her, solidifying her resolve. She must secure her place in this sanctuary. Steeling her nerves, Yunwoo reminds herself not to be foolish today. This is her chance. Her feet carry her forward as she stands to greet the man entering the room. "Manager Moon," she begins softly. Song-hyun's cool voice cuts through the air, observing that he thought her business with him was concluded. Her breath catches as his intense gaze meets hers, a palpable warmth radiating from his close presence. "Let's hear it," he says, his voice low as he gestures for her to sit. The heavy doors slide shut, sealing them inside alone. Yunwoo's thoughts suddenly vanish, captivated by the man sitting before her. His sharp, unwavering gaze makes her lose all focus. Song-hyun's voice cuts through the silence, his tone clipped and professional as he states his schedule is packed and asks her purpose for being here. A dark memory flashes through her mind, but she pushes it away, stealing her resolve. Pride is a luxury she can't afford. Rising to her feet, Yunwoo explains she's here to temporarily fill her mother's position. She declares with conviction that she is far more resilient than she appears. Yunwoo swallows her pride, making a single, desperate request to protect her mother's name and position. Her voice is a soft plea, her eyes fixed on the imposing man before her. The air crackles with tension as Song-hyun considers her offer. With a clipped tone, he agrees. Relief floods Yunwoo's expression, her body trembling slightly. As he rises to his feet, Song-hyun turns, his sharp gaze pinning her in place. He warns her that he expects her to back up her promises, his voice low and intense with a final, chilling statement. The reality of her new position crashes down on Yunwoo as a stern, older woman lays out the house rules with an iron will. She presents a thick manual, declaring that Yunwoo is forbidden from leaving the estate, going home at night, or taking any personal days. Her gaze is sharp and dismissive as she questions what someone so frail could possibly do. Despite the overwhelming pressure, Yunwoo stands firm, promising to obey every order. The woman's final, chilling command hangs in the air. Once inside, Yunwoo cannot leave without authorization. The stern woman clarifies the final, crushing rule: zero contact with the outside world. She watches Yunwoo, expecting this to be a devastating blow. To her utter astonishment, Yunwoo's face lights up with a brilliant smile as she declares she can handle it. Flustered, the woman insists she won't be able to see friends or a boyfriend. Yunwoo's smile never wavers. She calmly explains that since she has neither, this setup actually suits her perfectly. Taken aback, the woman finally instructs her to call her mother one last time before she becomes unreachable. The stern woman turns away, a cynical thought crossing her mind. she will see just how long that cheerful mask lasts. Her name is Moon Ok-rai, the estate's most senior staff member for 59 years. A vision of the past unfolds. An orphan at 17, she was responsible for 8 younger siblings. The weight of their survival rested on her small shoulders. Her youth was spent in endless labor, hauling heavy crates and striking laundry with a wooden paddle in the cold. This place was her battleground, and she gave it everything. Moon Ok-rai's life is a long, unchanging tapestry of seasons viewed through the estate's windows. She has given everything to Do Myong-jae, her youth fading into a stern seniority. Now the chief manager, she looks down on Yun-woo's cheerful resilience. Convinced this place will break her, she decides to give the girl a taste of how bitter the estate truly is. Elsewhere, the air is thick with the hum of a construction site. Inside a quiet office, Yun-woo's fingers nervously turn a pen over and over. She needs to make a request. A desperate man pleads, begging the executive director for one more chance. But Sung-hyun sits impassive at his desk, his expression cold as he signs a document. His life is one of cutthroat corporate warfare, a world where he has witnessed many fall. Yet, he listened to Yun-woo's plea. Surrounded by the thunder of construction and thick, suffocating dust, he recalls a life spent among laborers. Then, an image of Yun-woo fills his mind, a serene vision in a sunlit forest, a stark contrast to his gritty reality. Sung-in dismisses his thoughts of the woman who seems like a fragile fawn, convincing himself it's just momentary curiosity. A sharp knock interrupts the silence. His assistant enters, announcing a meeting request from another CEO. With a focused gaze, Sung-hyun instructs him to find a gap in the schedule within the week. His expression then hardens slightly. He adds a sharp critique, telling the man to use more restraint with his scent. The flustered assistant apologizes profusely, but Sung-hyun simply orders him to bring in the project team leaders. In the sterile meeting room, Sung-hyun faces his team. He internally reflects on why strong scents bother him so much. An invasive presence he can neither escape nor reject. Pushing the thought aside, he looks at the documents in his hand and calls for the briefing to commence. Miles away, a taxi hums along a quiet road, carrying Yun-woo toward her new life. The driver cheerfully notes that Do Myong-jae isn't a place for just anyone. Yun-woo confirms it's her first day, a small smile on her face. Her hand trembles slightly as she prepares to exit. This is it, there's no turning back. With a hopeful smile, Yun-woo peers out of the taxi window, thinking she won't need to see the outside world for months. Suddenly, the harsh screech of tires shatters the peace as a sleek black car halts directly behind them. A man with an intimidating gaze and a scar above his eye steps out, his phone pressed firmly to his ear. Reporting to his superior, he confirms he's reached the location. His chilling words hang in the air. He is standing right outside Ji Yun-woo's residence. The hunt is over. An attendant guides Yun-woo through the traditional estate to a simple, quiet room. She explains this will be Yun-woo's new space, offering a gentle warning about a strict director Moon and others who might speak unkindly. The woman advises her to let any harsh words pass by. Yun-woo quietly absorbs the advice, a flicker of understanding in her soft expression. Once the attendant departs, leaving her to unpack, Yun-woo is finally alone. She places her hand on the wooden window frame, feeling the solid wood beneath her fingertips as she contemplates her new life. A sense of calm settles over Yun-woo as she slides the traditional door open, thinking how cozy her new room is. Her mind is finally at ease. Stepping out, she stretches her arms wide, taking in the fresh air and feeling like she can truly live again. She watches butterflies dance over the beautiful landscape, a sight her mother would have loved. Her peaceful moment shatters when a commanding figure walks into view. It's Sung-hyun, immaculate in his suit, his sharp eyes locking onto her. A jolt runs through Yun-woo as she freezes, panicking over what to do. Yun-woo's heart hammers in her chest. Her first instinct is to flee, and she quickly ducks back inside her room, her mind a blur of panic. But she stops herself, peeking out again. Why is she hiding? He's the reason she's here. Remembering she was told to greet him properly, she musters her courage. Meanwhile, Sung-hyun stands in the courtyard after a long day. The weariness fades as he notices the lovely scent of magnolia in the air. His quiet moment is shattered when a voice urgently shouts for everyone to greet the executive director. A stern manager questions why she wasn't told about Yun-woo's arrival, dismissing another woman's excuses. Her tone is sharp as she states that Yunwoo's salary starts today and demands her phone number. Yunwoo looks down, quietly admitting she doesn't have a phone because she thought she wouldn't need one. The manager's face darkens with suspicion. She grabs Yunwoo's wrist, her eyes narrowing as she asks if she's being chased by the government. Flustered, Yunwoo vehemently denies it just as another employee calls the manager away, breaking the intense confrontation. As the sun sets, casting a warm glow over the traditional building, Yunwoo is guided to a private office. A deep, steady voice from within says, "Come in." The door clicks open, and she hesitantly steps inside. She's stunned to find a sleek, modern office where Song-hyun sits at his desk, completely absorbed in his work. The unexpected sight makes her breath catch, a strange warmth spreading across her cheeks. A man beside her quietly asks if she used the business card yet. Flustered, Yunwoo shakes her head, whispering, "No, not yet." Yunwoo nervously pulls the crumpled business card from her pocket, apologizing as she holds it out to Song-hyun. She explains it's not something she should keep and that she wants to repay him. He watches her, his gaze steady, before smoothly retrieving a sleek black card from his wallet. Ignoring her gesture, he tells her to buy clothes that she would be upset to see ruined. He suggests getting several outfits. Flustered, Yunwoo waves her hands in protest, her face flushing as the air between them grows thick with unspoken intensity. A knot of tension tightens in Yunwoo's chest. She feels trapped, sensing she won't be allowed to leave if she keeps refusing. Bowing her head, she quietly announces her departure and turns to escape the charged atmosphere. Before she can take a step, Song-hyun's hand darts out, his fingers wrapping firmly around her wrist. He pulls her to a stop, a faint smirk playing on his lips. With a low, challenging tone, he suggests her refusal must mean she's hoping for an even bigger reward, leaving her speechless and flustered. In her new, simple uniform, Yunwoo stands nervously as an older superior, Do-eun-ja, inspects her with a critical eye. The woman's initial compliments on her beauty quickly sour into accusations. She steps closer, demanding to know if Yunwoo is trying to look appealing on purpose and questioning if she's wearing makeup. Startled, Yunwoo quietly denies it, but Do-eun-ja calls her a liar. She sternly orders her to keep her face plain for work. Meekly, Yunwoo agrees, her shoulders slumping. The woman then commands her to follow, ready to put her to work. In his sleek executive office, Song-hyun reviews a list of representatives for the new resort construction. Meanwhile, Yunwoo's mind races. She thinks about the powerful man who knows her name and her workplace, while she doesn't even know his. The imbalance of knowledge leaves her feeling vulnerable. In his chair, Song-hyun finds himself unexpectedly unsettled, feeling as though he's at a disadvantage. A flicker of annoyance crosses his features as he leans back, dismissing the thought. He coldly questions why he would even need to know that woman's name. Song-hyun abruptly stands, annoyed with himself. He never pays attention to employees, so why is he dwelling on his conversation with her? The memory of his question echoes. How long did she plan to stay? Yunwoo's sincere reply, about hoping her mother's recovery would be done in 3 months, replays in his mind. He faces the window, his composure rattled as he wonders why she affects him this way. A sudden knock breaks his thoughts. The door swings open and a bright, smiling young man steps in, calling out, "Nam Song-hyun bro." A bright smile spreads across Nam Hyunuk's face as he calls out in surprise, "Song-hyun." He asks how long he's been standing there. Cool and composed, Song-hyun explains he just arrived, but seeing him was a priority. Nam Hyunuk playfully suggests a warning call would have been appreciated. A confident smirk touches Song-hyun's lips as he counters that spontaneous visits are the best way to gauge someone's true feelings. Their easy rapport fills the room before a flashback reveals Nam Hyunuk's past as the heir to the Seolyang construction legacy. A flashback reveals Nam Hyunuk's dual life, the approachable, friendly face of the Nam family, and the reclusive craftsman operating from a private atelier. He also wanders as a photographer, capturing the world through his lens. Back in the present, Nam Hyunuk sighs that traveling clears his head, but Song-hyun questions the appeal of a construction zone. Nam Hyunuk insists it's magnificent. Song-hyun sets his cup down and dryly agrees, noting Nam Hyunuk's father is merely a figurehead. Looking weary, Nam Hyunuk sighs that his father really needs to grow up. A wry smile touches Nam Hyunuk's lips as he dismisses his father's immaturity. Changing the subject, Song-hyun asks when his shift wraps up. Annoyed to hear it's at least another hour, Nam Hyunuk throws a small tantrum. wishing Sung-hyun would just go home. Unfazed, Sung-hyun tells him to leave if he's a distraction. Defeated, Nam Hyunuk lies back on the sofa, scrolling his phone. Focused on his work, Sung-hyun asks how long he'll be staying. Nam Hyunuk suggests a week, though a thoughtful look crosses his face as he muses he might stay longer if things get captivating. At the inn, one hostess judges Yeonwoo from afar, whispering that she's a temptress who has men wrapped around her finger. Her companion scolds her for spreading such scandalous rumors. "Sister, I'm an expert judge of character," the woman insists. The friend retorts that her so-called expertise led her to a life of footing bills, suggesting she's just jealous. This triggers a dramatic, glamorous flashback to her youth, a fantasy her friend mercilessly shatters. "You honestly look more decent now," she says, before finally asking where the greenhorn has gone. The senior hostess reveals she buried Yeonwoo under a mountain of tasks, telling her friend to leave her be. Her companion sighs, remarking that she seems intent on breaking the poor girl. A cruel smile plays on the hostess's lips. "Just you watch," she declares, certain Yeonwoo won't last 3 days before the pressure becomes too much. Meanwhile, under the hot sun, Yeonwoo works tirelessly, scrubbing items in a large basin. Sweat drips from her face as she pants, wondering how much more there is to do. Another heavy container lands beside her. Here's the next batch. When Yeonwoo asks for a deadline, the senior hostess scoffs, telling her the person doing the labor should be the one setting the pace. As the sun sets, casting a warm, golden glow, Yeonwoo continues scrubbing an endless pile of bowls, her body aching with exhaustion. The sheer volume of work seems impossible, a week's worth at least. Lost in her fatigue, a deep voice suddenly cuts through the quiet evening air, asking what she is still doing out here. Her head snaps up, surprised by the unexpected company. Yeonwoo flinches as the senior hostess confronts her, asking if she has truly been working since dawn. The woman scolds her for missing meals, pointing out that she should have responded to the radio announcement. "Unless your goal is to collapse," she insists, "drop what you're doing and take a break." Instead of resting, Yeonwoo simply asks for her next orders. Visibly taken aback, the hostess assigns her a new task. Since the executive director is heading out, she must go tidy up the rooms at Unseen-dae. Yeonwoo accepts without hesitation. The senior hostess reports to another matron, a faint smile on her lips. "A real spitfire just joined," she says, remarking on Yeonwoo's stubbornness. Elsewhere on the grounds, bathed in the warm, golden light of dusk, Sung-hyun walks with a companion. His friend looks toward a magnificent blooming tree, lost in nostalgia for a shared childhood. While the friend closes his eyes, feeling a strange serenity, Sung-hyun's expression remains unreadable. Their peaceful stroll through the past is a world away from Yeonwoo's grueling work, their paths unknowingly about to intersect. The tranquil evening air stills as Sung-hyun's eyes lock onto a figure in the distance. He stops walking, a single thought cutting through his mind. Beneath the warm glow of the setting sun, Yeonwoo sweeps fallen cherry blossom petals from a stone path, her movements quiet and deliberate. Sung-hyun freezes, his gaze intense as he recognizes her. The world around him fades. Just as he processes the impossible sight, his friend's voice rings out with sudden recognition, calling her name into the twilight air. "Yeonwoo." Sung-hyun's friend rushes forward, his face alight with recognition as he eagerly takes Yeonwoo's hand in his. She stands frozen, her expression a mix of surprise and confusion at the sudden familiarity. A few feet away, Sung-hyun watches, his own hand tightening into a fist around the strap of his bag. A wave of possessive heat floods him as he watches another man hold her hand. The golden evening light seems to darken around his figure as his sharp gaze locks onto them, his mind repeating her full name. "Ji Yeonwoo." A voice suddenly calls her name. "Ji Yeonwoo." Yeonwoo freezes, her hand clenching a broom handle. Her heart pounds in her chest. No one here should know her. A young man with a bright, friendly face steps forward, extending a hand. "It's me, Hyunwook," he says with a wide smile, reminding her that they were in the same class in middle school. Recognition slowly washes over her face. They shake hands as he happily mentions he'd heard she moved to Seoul. Though she offers a polite smile, a cautious distance lingers in her eyes. Yeonwoo offers a small smile, explaining to Hyunwook that her return is just how things turned out. He beams, saying he knew there was a reason he felt drawn to visit today. It was to see her. From nearby, Sung-hyun's cold, sharp eyes watch them. The air around him seems to chill as he observes their easy conversation. A colleague calls out to him, but Sung-hyun dismisses the man, telling him to go on without him. With a final, unreadable glance, he turns away, leaving a silent tension hanging in the warm afternoon light. The hot water cascades over Sung-hyun's broad shoulders, but it does little to cool his thoughts. The memory of Yeon-woo's face, her polite but distant smile as she spoke with another man, flashes in his mind. He runs a hand through his wet hair, his gaze sharp and intense. Far from clearing his head, the sensation only makes his frustration boil over. The bathroom door slides open, and Hyun-wook enters with 2 beers. "Hyung," he says with an easy smile. "You're okay with beer, right?" Sung-hyun watches Hyun-wook, noting his unusually great mood. "Of course I am." Hyun-wook beams, explaining that he just ran into an old friend. The atmosphere chills as Sung-hyun sets his can down with a sharp tap. His voice is low and direct as he states, "You must have liked her." Caught off guard, Hyun-wook sputters, "Yeon-woo." He quickly recovers with a sly grin, musing aloud that he'll find out as they spend more time together. He meets Sung-hyun's intense, unblinking stare, adding, "Things are about to get interesting." Yeon-woo stands alone, her mind replaying the encounter. Were we really that close? She wonders, a vague memory surfacing of a cheerful boy in a school uniform, the class president. His friendly vibe comes back to her, and she feels a little bad, thinking he seemed so happy to see her. Later, a senior staff member gives Yeon-woo her instructions. She explains that the executive director and Hyun-wook are being served drinks, and Yeon-woo must monitor the radio. If they get peckish, she adds, bring the appetizers. Just as the woman gives her final order, a sudden shout echoes down the hall. The senior staff member jumps, startled by Yeon-woo's quiet approach. "You scared me," she exclaims, clutching her chest. After composing herself, she asks what's wrong. A deep rumble suddenly fills the quiet hallway. It's coming from Yeon-woo. Blushing, she gives her manager a sheepish smile. "I'm hungry," she confesses. "Please give me some food." Soon after, the manager places a tray full of food before her, lightly scolding her for not eating all day. Yeon-woo looks down at the kind meal, her heart feeling warm. "I'm sorry," she says softly, promising to take care of her own meals from now on. The senior staff member tells Yeon-woo to look after her own meals from now on. As Yeon-woo takes her first bite of the warm soup, her eyes shine with pure, unadulterated bliss. The manager stares, taken aback by the intensity of her reaction. "What's with that face?" she asks. "It's just so delicious," Yeon-woo says, a genuine, happy smile spreading across her lips. Flustered, the manager explains they only use the finest ingredients. Her gruff exterior softens as she watches the young woman eat, her gaze turning serious. "You said you lived in Seoul." Yeon-woo explains she worked at a small architecture firm in Seoul before quietly admitting, "I quit." The manager leans forward, her eyes sharp with curiosity as she asks why. The question hangs in the air, and Yeon-woo's hand freezes mid-scoop. Dark memories flood her mind. The shadowy figures of her old colleagues, their vicious rumors echoing around her, blaming her for the vice president's actions. The manager's voice cuts through the haze. "Are you chewing your food or ruminating?" Yeon-woo keeps her head down, knowing she can't possibly explain the truth. Yeon-woo offers a quiet explanation, admitting her old job in Seoul wasn't a good fit. The manager scoffs, dismissing the idea of a perfect fit and questioning if this job will be any different. A serene smile blossoms on Yeon-woo's face as she looks up. "I think so," she says, her voice filled with a surprising warmth. "Much more than I expected." Her inner resolve hardens. She came here to survive. With renewed determination, Yeon-woo abruptly stands from the table. The manager looks up, startled by the sudden movement. "I'm finished," Yeon-woo announces, ready to wash the dishes. A fierce resolve hardens within Yeon-woo. If no one will protect her, she will protect herself. Elsewhere, in a dark, smoke-filled room, a man's attempt to call her fails. "The number you have dialed is not in service." The automated tone echoes his frustration. He grits his teeth, realizing she's erased her tracks. Just as despair sets in, his phone rings with an incoming call from someone named Hong-sik. A slow, predatory smile spreads across his lips as he answers. "You found her?" he asks, his voice dangerously calm. In a dimly lit room, a man with intricate tattoos covering his arm holds a phone to his ear, demanding to know if his target has been found. From a street, his subordinate nervously reports that he hasn't located her yet. The news infuriates the tattooed man, who snaps at the lack of results before aggressively grinding his cigarette into an ashtray. He asks for the subordinate's location, who confirms he is staking out her family home, confident she will eventually appear. And then, the voice presses. The subordinate reveals his leverage, a letter, explaining that a few words to her mother will ensure she gets in touch immediately. From his post, a man peers through a metal gate, assuring his boss over the phone that he has never failed. On the other end, Yun-suk smirks, ordering him to simply keep watch. The next morning, the bright sun shines down on a traditional building. Unaware of the lurking danger, Yun-woo stretches her arms with a wide yawn, feeling refreshed after getting some sleep at her new job. Her manager urges her to rest, but warns her to be on time for the executive director's arrival. Yun-woo agrees, thinking her second night feels much easier. As Yun-woo starts her morning, a soft voice calls her name. She turns to find an unfamiliar young man smiling warmly, the hood of his sweatshirt framing his friendly face. He asks if she's heading to work. With a flash of playfulness, Yun-woo greets him as Young Master, a title she heard others use. His confused expression makes her admit she was just trying it out. He gives a thumbs up, noting she's up early, before confessing with a gentle smile that he's just on his way to bed, his days and nights long since swapped. The young man leans in, his voice a low whisper as he admits he's unemployed. A smirk plays on Yun-woo's lips as she teases him, but his mood turns somber. He covers his mouth, lamenting that he has given up on romance. Annoyed by his privileged complaints, Yun-woo's expression hardens. Just as he notes how cold she has become, a sharp, commanding voice cuts through the air, calling her name. The playful atmosphere evaporates instantly. A man in an impeccable suit stands nearby, his powerful presence shifting the air around them. A playful smile graces Yun-woo's lips as she assures the flustered young man she's only kidding. A wave of pure relief washes over her as she reflects on this simple moment. She feels genuinely happy, able to chat about trivial things without the crushing weight of anxiety. From a distance, Sung-hyun's sharp gaze fixes on them. An unfamiliar warmth spreads through his chest as he watches their easy conversation. He lets out a slow breath, the air suddenly feeling thick and heavy. "It's hot," he murmurs, his fingers moving to loosen his tie. At a grand traditional estate, a servant plans the evening meal, suggesting boiled octopus since young Master Hyun-wook likes it. Inside, Hyun-wook stands dismissively over a prepared table, telling the staff to do as they please. With a respectful "yes, sir," the servants see him off. He takes his briefcase from an attendant, his imposing figure striding past a line of deeply bowing household members. As he walks along the stone path outside, his steps suddenly come to a sharp halt, his shoes still on the pavement. Sung-hyun's steps halt directly in front of Yun-woo, his sharp gaze cutting through the warm air as he asks where she's headed. Startled, she stammers that she's just going to get the mail for her manager. "Let's go," he says simply, turning to walk beside her. Yun-woo's mind races with confusion. His presence feels overwhelming, and she worries about saying the wrong thing to the powerful executive director. Just as her thoughts spiral, he breaks the silence, his voice unexpectedly gentle as he asks if her work is manageable. A nervous warmth spreads across Yun-woo's cheeks as she quickly insists that her work is manageable, all thanks to him looking out for her. A ghost of a smile plays on Sung-hyun's lips. He inwardly questions her gratitude, wondering what he could have possibly done. His thoughts drift to things he's heard, that she was once so popular, with a beautiful smile. Yet, whenever they cross paths, her face is always so stiff. A sharp realization hits him. That tense, guarded expression is something she reserves only for him. A memory flashes through Sung-hyun's mind. A bright, playful smile she easily gives to another man named Hyun-wook. He realizes her guarded expression is reserved only for him. As they reach a large wooden gate, Yun-woo bows formally, wishing him a good day. He cuts her off, stating one greeting was enough. Flustered, she explains she was simply taught to be polite. A quiet moment hangs between them before he softens his tone, his lips curving slightly. "I learned your name," he says gently, his gaze holding hers, changing the air between them entirely. Sung-hyun's intense gaze remains fixed on Yun-woo as he adds that he learned her age, too. He was simply wondering what else there was left to know. A disarming smile touches his lips, and he announces that he'll be on his way. But before he can leave, he pivots, his hand suddenly closing around her wrist. The unexpected touch sends a jolt through Yun-woo. Her eyes widen in stunned silence, a warm blush spreading across her cheeks as she stares at him, completely frozen by his sudden grip. Yunwoo sits at her desk, her focus on the paperwork in her hands. Across from her, Sunghyun's voice is low and steady. He tells her he already knows her name and age, his gaze intense as he wonders aloud what else there is to learn about her. The question hangs in the air, leaving Yunwoo completely bewildered. What could he possibly mean? Before she can unravel his words, his hand lands firmly on her shoulder. A small gasp escapes her lips as a surprising warmth spreads from his touch, her heart fluttering in her chest. An older woman jabs her finger against Yunwoo's temple, her voice sharp with irritation. She scolds Yunwoo, asking if one night shift has already muddled her mind and why she isn't opening the mail. The woman slams a letter on the counter, startling Yunwoo. "I can't hear you," Yunwoo says quietly, her expression weary. The woman scoffs, muttering that it seems Yunwoo brought her ears but left her mouth at home. She takes a quick drink before slamming her cup down and ordering Yunwoo to organize the warehouse next. The woman leans in close, her voice a low hiss as she piles on a mountain of chores for Yunwoo. Hand wash laundry, clean 80 radishes, move rice sacks, and sweep the floors. Her eyes narrow in frustration, demanding to know if Yunwoo is even listening. Suddenly, a sharp voice cuts through the air. Another woman appears, berating her sister for the noise. "Did you swallow a megaphone?" she snaps. The first woman sputters, pointing at Yunwoo as she tries to defend herself, but Yunwoo simply stands between them, a silent observer. The scene shifts to a sprawling construction site bathed in the warm glow of dusk. A colleague invites Sunghyun to eat at the office as they walk past a group of workers. One man animatedly recounts falling for his wife instantly, but his friend scoffs at the romantic tale. The phrase "love at first sight" slices through the air, and Sunghyun stops dead in his tracks. The words seem to ignite something within him, a sudden warmth blooming in his chest. Lost in a memory, he stares into the distance, his colleague's voice barely registering as he calls his name. The words "love at first sight" echo in Sunghyun's mind. One worker dismisses the idea as a shallow impulse, but another speaks with passion, recounting how seeing his wife felt like a shovel striking him in the heart. At that moment, an image of Yunwoo, her face calm and gentle, flashes through Sunghyun's thoughts. Heat rushes through him, and his hand clenches into a tight fist. He questions himself intensely. If falling in love instantly doesn't make sense, then what is this powerful feeling overtaking him? Yunwoo works quietly, a gentle rattling sound filling the warm, sunlit room. Her mind, however, is far away, unable to shake the thought of Sunghyun's greeting. A soft blush warms her cheeks as she considers that maybe he is a kinder, more delicate person than she first believed. The memory of him apologizing at the bus stop flashes in her mind. She reflects on the fact that it's thanks to him she can work here. His handsome face, surprisingly gentle, lingers in her thoughts, revealing a kindness hidden beneath his cold exterior. Yunwoo lets out a soft sigh, deciding to think of Sunghyun as a kinder person than she expected. A voice suddenly teases that the ground might cave in from a sigh that heavy. She jumps, startled to see Sunghyun standing right beside her. He admits with a smile that he overslept and asks why she's washing a huge pile of dishes. Yunwoo explains that she's fine doing it alone. She finds it comfortable. As she speaks, his expression softens. He reaches out, his fingers gently tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. His touch is light. He thought she might be uncomfortable, he says, his gaze lingering on her with a gentle warmth. A warm blush creeps up Yunwoo's cheeks as she murmurs her thanks. Sunghyun's smile widens, and he asks if he should help with the dishes. She quickly refuses, worried she'll get in trouble for letting the young master get his hands wet. Ignoring her protest, he plunges his hands into the soapy water right beside hers. Startled, Yunwoo tells him to stop, but he just leans closer, his gaze soft. He states that his hands are already wet. A flutter fills her chest as she sighs in defeat, telling him to at least put on gloves. A man named Hyun-wook scrubs away with a smug grin, teasing that only a jobless bum could polish dishes so well. Yunwoo smiles softly at his antics, her expression turning thoughtful. She asks if being so kind and sociable is a family trait. No, Hyun-wook replies, surprised. He explains that only he and his father are like that. His cousin, Sunghyun, is the opposite, a cold-blooded workaholic. As Yunwoo listens intently, Hyun-wook insists he's never once heard a kind word come out of Sunghyun's mouth. It was a misunderstanding, just as she suspected. As they squat side by side washing linens, Hyun-wook playfully calls out to Yeon-woo, reminding her that he offered to help, not to do the work alone. She teases that his hands are surprisingly fast for a young master, and he grumbles for her to stop. The lighthearted atmosphere shifts as his expression turns serious. He tells her there's a reunion soon and that she should come. Yeon-woo pauses, her eyes widening slightly at the unexpected invitation. A reunion? She asks softly. At a bustling construction site, a phone vibrates with an incoming call from President Nam. Inside a sleek office, Sung-hyun answers, his voice level. He listens, his expression sharp and serious as he walks through the building. The caller, President Nam, sounds flustered from a golf course, insisting he isn't busy. He explains that French representatives are arriving and that a young executive like Sung-hyun would be a better fit to meet them. Unimpressed, Sung-hyun cuts him off, stating he'll simply confirm the details with the president's secretary, prompting a panicked protest from the other end. President Nam complains about Sung-hyun's coldness before admitting he fought with his wife over their anniversary. Uninterested, Sung-hyun listens as the president asks about someone named Hyun-wook. His patience wears thin with the rambling, and he curtly ends the call, stating he has a meeting. President Nam's final plea to smile a lot for the guests hangs in the air. Alone, Sung-hyun sighs in frustration, running a hand through his hair. The scene then shifts to a tranquil evening at a traditional house, where a beautiful, steaming dinner awaits. At the dinner table, a magnificent seafood feast is met with playful complaints from Sung-hyun's brother, who teases their grandmother about the sheer quantity. The lighthearted bickering fills the room, but Sung-hyun is miles away. His mind drifts to Yeon-woo, a quiet concern that he didn't see her at the end of the day. He brings a small cup to his lips, a warmth spreading through him that has little to do with the drink. A soft flush rises on his cheeks as he thinks of her, the air in the room feeling charged. The warmth from the drink spreads through Sung-hyun, but it's his thoughts that truly heat the air around him. He feels strangely chased by time, though he tells himself he isn't waiting for anyone. The memory of President Nam confessing he fell for his wife at first sight surfaces, making Sung-hyun wonder when this feeling began. His brother's voice breaks the spell, asking if he can host a reunion at the house. "Do as you please," Sung-hyun replies coolly. "Your family." His gaze remains intense, lost in his own world. A woman's voice comes through the phone, asking for Yeon-woo's location. She confirms she's on her way. Back at the dinner table, Sung-hyun abruptly stands, his meal unfinished. His brother watches in surprise, asking if he's already done. "Eat slowly and come over," Sung-hyun instructs, his tone firm before he walks away. His brother stares at his retreating form, noticing the deep flush on his cheeks. He must have had a lot to drink. Later, Yeon-woo quietly enters the dark house, flipping on the lights to his study, hoping to tidy up. As Yeon-woo tidies the quiet study, her thoughts drift to Sung-hyun. She knows his name and his age, but feels there's so much more to him left to discover. She pulls an envelope from her apron, believing it will serve as a clear answer and stop her from misinterpreting his intentions. Her instincts scream caution around this enigmatic man, Nam Sung-hyun. He is difficult because he is an adult, a man, and a superior, a combination that sets her on edge. His imposing silhouette stands against a window, an unreadable and powerful mystery. A cold memory snakes around Yeon-woo's heart. Yoon-suk was also an adult, a man, a superior. The moment she let her guard down, believing he was a good person, he revealed the menacing nature he had kept hidden. A shiver traces down her spine. "That is why I must maintain a proper distance," she resolves, her pulse quickening. With quiet determination, Yeon-woo stands abruptly, slipping out of her shoes. She leaves them neatly behind, stepping barefoot and resolute into the house, her guard firmly back in place. A deep voice cuts through the quiet night, and Yeon-woo turns to find Sung-hyun standing there, bathed in moonlight. "Are you done with work?" he asks. Startled, she gasps and stumbles backward, her footing lost on the edge of the step. Before she can fall, a strong arm wraps around her waist, pulling her securely against him. The world spins in a blur of sparkling lights. Sung-hyun steadies her, his face inches from hers. "Another person falling down the stairs," he says, his voice low. "Your mother's enough." His gaze is intense, holding her captive. The warmth from Sung-hyun's hand seeps through her clothes, sending a jolt through Yeon-woo. He leans closer, his voice a low rumble as he hopes she isn't hurt, remarking that finding a replacement for her would be difficult. A blush creeps up her neck. Flustered, she quickly pulls away, stammering an apology for being surprised. After telling her he'll finish his work, he turns away. As he leaves, a quiet resolution settles over him. He decides he's going to start trying things he's never done before, leaving Yunwoo utterly bewildered. His footsteps echo in the quiet courtyard as he walks away. He reflects on all the things he was confident he could live without, but now, he's thinking of trying them. Things like asking for a favor. He stops and turns back, facing Yunwoo under the moonlight. An unfamiliar heat rises within him, a deep thirst that he knows isn't from any drink. It's because of her. His gaze locks with hers, a faint, confident smile on his lips. "I would like you to make time for me this coming weekend," he says. Under the quiet evening sky, Sung Hyun's voice is low and direct as he asks Yunwoo to make time for him over the weekend. She looks at him, completely taken aback, her lips parted in surprise. He explains that representatives from France are coming, and he needs someone to smile for him. The unusual request confuses her. Her mind flashes to an image of a bubbly, laughing woman effortlessly charming guests. "Someone to smile for you?" she asks, her brow furrowed. His answer is a simple, firm correct. Feeling inadequate, she looks away, insisting he must have the wrong person. Yunwoo looks down, insisting she's not someone who smiles often. A faint, knowing smirk plays on Sung Hyun's lips as his intense gaze meets hers. "Not true," he says, his voice low. "You smiled quite well." Her eyes widen, her heart skipping a beat in surprise. Flustered, she questions if he has her mistaken for someone else. His expression shifts, a flicker of something possessive in his eyes. "Of course," he clarifies, the air growing thick with unspoken feelings. "It wasn't in front of me." A memory surfaces, of him watching her, smiling so freely with another. The memory of Yunwoo's brilliant smile is seared into Sung Hyun's mind, a secret he holds close, unable to admit he cherishes it. Yunwoo, however, looks away, her voice filled with insecurity as she insists she's not the right person for such an important event. He dismisses her concerns, stating he'll have a dress sent over. When she meekly suggests he find someone else, his gaze turns sharp, his voice dropping with raw intensity. "There is no one else," he declares, a possessive edge to his tone. "And I have no intention of finding anyone." Yunwoo returns with her arms full of boxes, only to be immediately scolded by the senior staff for her timing. Before she can respond, Sung Hyun's calm, authoritative voice cuts through the room. Addressing the head manager directly, he announces that Yunwoo will be unavailable for work this weekend. The staff members stare in disbelief, their jaws slack with shock. He explains she is needed to assist him at a dinner with overseas representatives. The women exchange gossipy glances, but a single, chilling glare from Sung Hyun silences them instantly. The senior manager objects, feigning concern over a newbie handling such an important task for the director. Unmoved, Sung Hyun coolly explains that Yunwoo's secretarial experience makes her the perfect choice, as his main staff is unavailable on the weekend. His sharp, unwavering gaze silences the older woman, who quickly backpedals. Sung Hyun then turns his full attention to Yunwoo, offering his secretary's help to find a dress. A jolt of panic runs through her. She instantly refuses, her heart pounding with the terrifying thought of Yunsuk finding her if she ventures outside. Sung Hyun calmly overrides her panic, instructing her to simply give him her size so he can purchase the dress for her. As he reaches inside his jacket, the other staff members gossip bitterly in the background. Desperate, Yunwoo turns to a manager and asks if there's anywhere nearby to find a banquet dress. Just as a spark of an idea hits the older woman, a boisterous laugh echoes through the room. A glamorous, impeccably dressed woman arrives, greeted with immediate reverence and praise for her stunning fashion sense. The glamorous woman's eyes land on Yunwoo, her expression instantly impressed. After a playful exchange with the manager, she turns her full attention to the younger woman. A shy hello escapes Yunwoo's lips. "Goodness, what a beauty!" the woman exclaims, rushing forward to take Yunwoo's hands. She declares that Yunwoo is the main character for the day, boasting she's the best stylist in Korea. The manager gives a stern warning not to embarrass Sung Hyun, but the woman is already buzzing with artistic inspiration, overcome with a sudden rush of excitement for the transformation. The stylist holds up a vibrant pink dress, a sparkle in her eye as she suggests Yunwoo try it on. Looking at the veteran team of ladies, Yunwoo's expression is filled with doubt. She quietly wonders if she can really trust them. Later that evening, a door slides open in the tranquil house, revealing Sung Hyun standing in a sharp suit. The sudden sound startles Yunwoo, who looks up with wide, flustered eyes. She stammers a welcome, her mind racing. He's back much sooner than she anticipated. The air in the room feels thick as Yunwoo gives her report, her expression professional. She confirms the day's preparations and asks if there is anything else he needs. Song-hyun's simple no seems to dismiss her, and she turns to leave. But then, he sets his briefcase down, the soft sound stopping her in her tracks. A subtle, knowing smile plays on his lips. "Didn't you say you were ventilating?" he asks quietly. Flustered, Yunwoo stammers an apology and rushes to slide open a window, his intense gaze following her every move. Song-hyun turns, his sharp gaze fixed on Yunwoo as she moves away. A sudden warmth fills the air, shimmering with unspoken tension. He looks down for a moment before speaking, his voice steady. "Then I'll see you tomorrow." After she departs, he draws in a slow, deep breath. Leaning his head on his hand, he stares at the space she just occupied, his expression intense. He tugs at his collar, trying to find relief from the overwhelming heat that rises within him. "I've gone completely crazy," he thinks, completely captivated by her presence. The man she is with turns to her in the lobby of the Harleton Hotel, telling her he will go check them in and that she should wait. Yunwoo agrees quietly. The moment he leaves, a tremor runs through her. The world around her blurs as her body goes rigid with a sudden, overwhelming dread. Her eyes widen in panic. A single thought crashes through her mind. She might see Yoon-suk here. Just when she thought she was getting better, the familiar cold terror washes over her, leaving her frozen in place. Her hands clench together, a desperate thought echoing in her mind. She wants to go back. Suddenly, a gentle voice cuts through the fog of her panic. "Are you all right?" A light touch on her shoulder pulls her back to the present. It's Song-hyun, his sharp eyes searching her face with concern. He explains that he called out to her, but she didn't seem to hear. "You don't look well," he observes, his voice low. Yunwoo quickly dismisses it as motion sickness, but his gaze remains steady and unconvinced. He simply tells her they have time to go up and rest. She quietly agrees, turning to follow, his presence a fragile shield against the lingering dread. In the quiet of his hotel room, Song-hyun's thoughts drift to Yunwoo. The memory of her looking so unwell in the lobby settles heavily on his mind, a quiet worry creasing his brow. He wonders if she is feeling better now. Reaching for his phone to contact her, his fingers still as a realization strikes him. They never exchanged numbers. Unfazed, he turns to the vintage hotel phone on the bedside table. He decisively picks up the receiver, dials, and lifts it to his ear. A voice answers on the other end. On the phone, Song-hyun asks if she is getting ready for the banquet. A flustered Yunwoo confirms she is. He calmly tells her they can meet in the lobby in 2 hours, but she hesitates. Haltingly, Yunwoo explains that she tried on the dress, but isn't sure if it looks okay. That's all he needs to hear. He springs to his feet, his decision absolute. "I'm coming over now," he states, his voice leaving no room for argument. The receiver is placed down as his rapid footsteps echo down the hall. The doorbell chimes sharply through the quiet room. Song-hyun stands outside, his expression unreadable. "It's Nam Song-hyun," he states firmly. "Open up." Yunwoo cautiously opens the door, her cheeks flushed. Director." She begins, but he's already moving past her. He steps into the room, his presence immediately filling the space as the door clicks shut behind them. The air grows thick with unspoken tension. He turns, his gaze sweeping over her. She nervously clasps her hands, thinking the brilliant blue dress is far too flashy for her. The air grows thick as Song-hyun holds up a simple suit jacket, noting that the venue is of the highest class. He trails off, his eyes landing on Yunwoo. She stands frozen in a brilliant, sparkling blue gown that feels far too loud. The sight stops him cold. He turns away, hand covering his mouth, completely stunned. After a moment of charged silence, he faces her again. He admits the dress is startling, but looking at her, it isn't bad. All that matters is that she wears it well. His voice is low and steady. "Turn around once." Yunwoo slowly turns, a wave of heat rushing to her cheeks. She apologizes, convinced she has made a huge mistake and can't possibly attend the event like this. Song-hyun's expression darkens, his mind racing with frustration at the sight of the dress. Just as she starts to spiral, he pulls out his phone, bypassing her apologies entirely. His intense gaze remains fixed on her as he makes a call. "I need a banquet dress," he says firmly into the receiver. "It's for a woman." He glances at her, coolly assessing her frame. Her height is about my shoulder. His intense gaze stays fixed on her as he continues his description over the phone. She's slim, he says, his large hand gently enveloping hers. His eyes lock onto her, and with a low murmur, he adds, and pretty. Yunwoo flinches, heat instantly flooding her cheeks at the unexpected words. He finishes the call, instructing them to hurry with an appropriate dress. You heard what I said, he tells her, his voice steady. Let's wait. Yunwoo can only manage a quiet yes, her heart hammering in her chest as the door clicks shut. Songhyun turns back toward her, a soft escaping his lips. He looks her over, his voice low as he asks, Are you feeling physically okay? A wave of heat rushes to Yunwoo's cheeks. Soon after, a stunning, royal blue gown is delivered. Now wearing the dress, she peeks out from behind the attendant, giving a shy nod. A faint, almost imperceptible smirk plays on Songhyun's lips. As the door clicks shut, Yunwoo sinks onto the bed, completely overwhelmed, her heart pounding in the heavy silence of the room. In a sterile hospital room, a woman with a cast on her arm rests in bed while her older sister peels an apple, nagging her about getting injured. Their bickering soon turns to another subject. The visiting sister insists that Yunwoo needs to find a job in Seoul, complaining that she isn't getting any younger. Confused, the woman in bed furrows her brow. Why would she need a new job? She asks. My daughter said she's on company vacation. The words hang in the air. The older sister freezes, her eyes widening in disbelief. What? An older woman visits Yunwoo's mother, who is recovering in a hospital bed with a bandaged arm. The woman cuts straight to the point, asking why Yunwoo quit her job. Yunwoo's mother looks away, admitting she doesn't know the real reason and assumes her daughter is just trying to spare her from worry. The visitor suddenly stands, her expression hardening with resolve. She urges Yunwoo's mother to get her daughter out of Domyeongji immediately, declaring that she didn't send her to college just to do housework for someone. A man with a determined scowl walks through the neighborhood, convinced he's close to his target. He spots an elderly woman and calls out to her, asking if she knows someone named Shin Sunmi. The woman simply looks back, confused. Who? She asks. Visibly frustrated, the man dismisses the name and changes his tactic. He reaches into his coat and pulls out a photograph, holding it out for her to see. It's a picture of Yunwoo. Look at this, he demands. If you lived around here, you'd know her. Stylists fuss over Yunwoo, fastening a delicate, sparkling necklace around her neck. They ask if she's uncomfortable, but she gazes at her reflection and assures them that it's perfect. Her expression hardens with determination. She tells herself she must smile, no matter what. A memory of Songhyun's gentle gaze warms her from within. This is all for him. Yunwoo feels this is her chance to repay the debt she owes. Her heart steady as she prepares to enter a lavish, crowded hall. The soft, rhythmic click of heels echoes across the polished floor. Songhyun waits, his expression sharp and unreadable in a perfectly tailored suit. He turns as Yunwoo comes into view, a stunning figure in a sleek black gown that accentuates her every curve. For a moment, she hesitates beside him, the air thick with unspoken tension. She starts. Let's go, Songhyun says, his voice low and steady. He leads her to a private table overlooking the city, joining two other men for a critical business dinner, the fate of a major contract hanging in the balance. The business dinner concludes, a resounding success. The foreign client, charmed by Yunwoo's presence, happily agrees to sign the contract. Internally, Yunwoo breathes a sigh of relief. Her smiles mask the fact she didn't understand a word. As they prepare to part ways, the client's translator conveys how honored he was to dine with her. Suddenly, the client takes Yunwoo's hand, a warmth spreading from his touch. He lifts it to his lips, his gaze steady. Yunwoo freezes, her eyes widening in stunned silence at the unexpected intimacy. The client departs, leaving Yunwoo with a quiet "thank you" hanging in the air. Alone with Songhyun before the elevator, she finally lets out a breath of relief, thinking the evening went smoothly. But a heavy silence settles between them, catching the cold, unreadable expression on Songhyun's face. Yunwoo's anxiety spikes. Panic flutters in her chest as she blurts out, "I apologize." His sharp gaze cuts her off. "What are you apologizing for?" he demands, his voice low. She looks away, explaining she was simply worried that her smile wasn't convincing enough. Yunwoo dismisses his question with a quiet, "Never mind." She stands frozen just outside the open elevator, her expression downcast. Songhyun watches her, wondering why she hesitates to step inside. His mind flashes back to the dinner, recalling how the client seemed completely distracted from the billion-dollar deal. A slow, knowing smirk curves Song Hyun's lips. He realizes the man was so captivated that he blindly accepted their terms. He now sees that Yunwoo's quiet, tense presence holds a unique power that commanded the entire room from the moment they first met. Song Hyun's mind flashes back to the dinner, replaying the client's captivated gaze fixed on Yunwoo. The memory of that look, of another man's undisguised interest, ignites the fury he had barely contained beneath the table. In the present, Yunwoo misinterprets his heavy silence as disapproval. "If I made a mistake," she offers, her voice laced with anxiety, "please reprimand me. I will work harder." A soft breath escapes Song Hyun's lips, breaking the tension. "It's not your fault," he says, his voice low and reassuring. "Yunwoo, you made no mistakes and did well." Song Hyun tells Yunwoo that thanks to her, the contract went smoothly. A genuine, relieved smile lights up her face. "Isn't that a good thing?" she asks, her eyes crinkling with happiness. But his expression darkens. "It went so well it's almost infuriating," he says, his voice low. He understands now. He imagines the other man completely captivated, his heart racing at her smile. Song Hyun slips off his own suit jacket. Yunwoo watches, confused. He gently drapes it over her shoulders, his hand lingering as a warm weight. The night air is still chilly. Song Hyun presses the button for the elevator. Wrapped in his large jacket, the fabric still holding his warmth, Yunwoo offers a quiet, "Thank you." She hesitates, and he tells her to wait, a faint smirk playing on his lips as he explains it's just in case she falls. Flustered by his thoughtfulness, she looks up at him. "If it's okay," he asks, his voice low, "shall we take a little detour?" Before she can answer, he gently takes her arm. "I have something to say." At a grand hotel under the starry sky, a path glows with warm, ambient lights. Yunwoo's eyes sparkle with wonder as she whispers how beautiful it is. A gentle smile touches her lips, her expression serene as she soaks in the peaceful atmosphere. Song Hyun watches her, his sharp gaze softening as he observes that she seems comfortable. His words catch her off guard. She freezes, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Comfortable?" she thinks. It dawns on her that he's right. The constant, gnawing fear she carries has vanished, even in this open space. The comfortable silence shatters as Song Hyun turns to her, his gaze intense under the night sky. He asks why she truly left Seoul, pointing out that she arrived before her mother's accident and is far too young to retire. The gentle atmosphere becomes charged, the air crackling between them. Yunwoo's breath catches in her throat, and she nervously wrings her hands together. Looking up at him with vulnerable eyes, she finally confesses that she had some trouble. All she wanted, she whispers, was the chance to live a better life. Her hands flutter nervously, waving away his concern. She insists it was nothing, just a classmate from the past, and promises she will avoid Hyun-wook at the site if he wishes. In a smooth motion, Song Hyun closes the small distance between them. The night air suddenly feels warm, thick with an unspoken intensity. He leans in slightly, his sharp gaze unwavering. "With all due respect," he says, "things like boyfriends or dating hold no place in his life." A cold shudder runs through Yunwoo as she looks away, the memory of her past making her recoil. A flush creeps across Yunwoo's cheeks as she apologizes, having misunderstood his intentions regarding Hyun-wook. Song Hyun's expression is unreadable as he clarifies he was never suspicious, he just wanted to be certain. He presses, asking if that was all she wanted to tell him. "No way," she admits, but her courage immediately fails, and she tells him to forget it. A faint smirk touches his lips as he leans closer. He saw her recoil, and softly states that he can't make her shudder, after all. An older woman asks Yunwoo how her trip went, and Yunwoo replies with a gentle smile that it went well. She sets a shopping bag down, explaining it's a gift. The woman's eyes light up as she pulls out a beautiful jade bracelet, praising Yunwoo's taste. Their pleasant chat is cut short when a stern manager arrives, reprimanding Yunwoo for being late. Yunwoo lowers her head and apologizes as the manager sharply reminds her that she has night duty and needs to get to work immediately. An intimidating man with a scarred face corners the older woman, holding up a small photograph. It's a picture of Yunwoo. His eyes narrow as he accuses the woman of knowing something, warning her to speak plainly and that her age won't grant her any mercy. The woman's expression turns flighty as she tries to sell him undergarments. Enraged by her response, The man's face twists. He grabs her sleeve in a tight grip. "So, that girl, Yunwoo," he growls, his voice low and dangerous. "Tell me." Birds flutter past the ornate roof of a traditional building. After returning from the hotel, Yunwoo finds herself busy preparing meals for the new resort construction. Her thoughts drift to the director, Song-hyun, realizing she hasn't seen him all weekend. An older woman calls out, telling her to take off her apron. She hands Yunwoo a specially wrapped lunchbox. It's for the director, and she must deliver it to him separately. Yunwoo's heart stutters. She hesitates, trying to convince herself it will be fine. A warm smile brightens her face as she accepts. "Yes, I'll go." Yunwoo arrives at the bustling Seolyang resort construction site, clutching the lunchbox tightly. At the entrance, a man in a sharp suit stops her, his gaze questioning. She offers a polite smile, explaining she's from Domyeonji with the director's meal. Recognizing her purpose, the man leads her down a sterile hallway. He pauses before a heavy door, gives it a sharp knock, and announces the delivery. A low, familiar voice from inside responds, "Come in." The air suddenly feels heavy and warm as Yunwoo steps into the office, her heart fluttering. Song-hyun swivels in his office chair, his intense gaze finding Yunwoo as she stands tentatively in the doorway. He asks what brings her here. Clutching the lunchbox, she quietly explains the delivery. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touches his lips as he leans back. "Feels like I haven't seen you in a while," he says, his voice a low murmur. "Have you been well?" He teases her gently, and a bright flush spreads across her cheeks. As she hastily tries to excuse herself, his expression softens. He admits he's afraid to even say it's nice to see her, for fear of making her shudder. Flustered, Yunwoo quickly tells Song-hyun to enjoy his meal. Just then, his assistant announces that another guest has arrived. Taking this as her cue to escape the tense atmosphere, Yunwoo turns toward the door. As she walks, a new voice calls out a greeting to the director. Suddenly, an imposing shadow falls over her, and a chill snakes up her spine. Her blood runs cold. She freezes, her eyes widening in absolute terror as a sickeningly familiar voice speaks her name. It's Yun-suk, a predatory smile spreading across his face. "Wow, Yunwoo," he muses. "You were here." Yun-suk leans in close to Yunwoo, a smug smile playing on his lips as he murmurs her name. "You were here?" he asks, his presence suffocating. A hot flush of panic rises in Yunwoo's chest. She can only stare back, wide-eyed and speechless. In a sharp cut, Song-hyun sits in his office, his piercing gaze fixed on a document. The name, Namseol Industrial Development, triggers a memory. Yun-suk sits across from him, referencing Yunwoo's resume, before telling her he's busy and to wait for him. The trap is sprung. A memory flashes. Song-hyun, with his piercing, cold eyes, dismisses Yunwoo from his office. "You may leave now," he states flatly. When she hesitates, his voice hardens, questioning if she heard him. The memory dissolves, replaced by the suffocating heat of Yun-suk's hand on her shoulder. He leans in, his smile predatory. "Get back safely today," he says, his voice a low promise. "And I'll see you later, Yunwoo." He walks away from her, turning his smug grin towards Song-hyun. The air crackles as he gestures to a chair. "Have a seat." Yun-suk fumbles through a stack of papers, feigning confusion before abruptly taking a call, forcing Song-hyun to wait. Across from him, Song-hyun sits perfectly still, his sharp eyes betraying nothing as he observes the unprofessional display. After a clipped conversation, Yun-suk offers a shallow apology, remarking it would have been better if the person in charge had come. A sly smile touches his lips as he adds that he isn't the type to need an entourage. He then scoffs at the stifling office, clearly trying to get under Song-hyun's skin. Yun-suk tries to build rapport, gesturing to the tattoos on his wrist and musing about his childhood dream of being a painter. Unimpressed, Song-hyun delivers a cool retort, suggesting he must have wanted to be the canvas, not the artist. A vein bulges on Yun-suk's neck as he forces a laugh. He attempts a sleazy compliment, but Song-hyun cuts him off, his grip tightening on his papers as he asks for a name. After the introduction, Song-hyun feigns a mistake, noting with icy finality that he has never met with anyone below a president. Yun-suk's eyes burn with barely suppressed rage. As a staff member reminds Song-hyun of another meeting, Yun-suk makes a show of leaving but pauses at the door. He asks a supposedly trivial question about the female employee he saw earlier. Turning his back, Song-hyun states she works at Domyeonji. A dark, knowing smile creeps onto Yun-suk's face as he confirms her hiding place. He calls her a girl he used to keep around, causing Song-hyun to halt. With a sharp glance, Song-hyun asks if she owes him money. A chilling smile spreads across Yoon-suk's face as he denies it's a matter of money. He claims he simply asked for her heart, but she played hard to get. Privately, his thoughts twist the memory into a much darker, sinister demand. An image of Yeon-woo's pained face flashes, her voice echoing how the thought of men makes her shudder. Yoon-suk suddenly dismisses his vile words as a simple joke, but Song-hyun's expression remains like ice. He knows that's more than enough reason for her fear. Song-hyun coolly tells Yoon-suk his secretary will send the schedule, and the man leaves with an enthusiastic promise. Once alone, Song-hyun adjusts his tie, his expression turning to absolute ice. As sunset paints the sky, Yeon-woo walks through the quiet grounds of Domyeonji. Suddenly, her peace shatters. A sickening memory invades her mind. Yoon-suk's predatory smile, his face far too close. His voice haunts her, a possessive whisper promising to come for her. The terror is suffocating, trapping her in a box of despair. "You can't escape," his voice echoes, as a horrified gasp catches in her throat. Panic seizes Yeon-woo as the horrifying memories flood her mind. Tears stream down her face, and she covers her mouth to stifle a sob. Her thoughts race, a desperate need to escape warring with her frozen terror. "Newbie, what's wrong?" a voice asks. An older co-worker's cheerful demeanor vanishes, replaced by concern. "Are you crying?" she asks, alarmed. Overwhelmed, Yeon-woo's hand trembles as she clutches the woman's sleeve, her legs giving way. She sinks to the ground as her co-worker rushes to her side, calling her name. Yeon-woo's pleas fracture the air as she sobs uncontrollably, begging for someone to save her. The commotion draws an older, stern-looking woman who quickly takes charge, dismissing the other flustered staff. She leads the trembling Yeon-woo outside to the calm of a scenic bridge. Her gaze is sharp as she gets straight to the point, asking if she's being pursued by some nasty people. Yeon-woo lets out a choked sob, unable to form words. The woman's voice is firm. "Stop your crying. You gotta speak up so I know." The older woman shakes Yeon-woo, her voice sharp. She demands to know where Yeon-woo thinks she can hide, warning that if she lies, she'll be cast out. With her eyes downcast, Yeon-woo finally admits the truth. Her boss from her old company is pursuing her, forcing her to run away. The woman's harsh demeanor softens. She tells Yeon-woo there's no need to cry, as she's done nothing wrong. Placing a comforting hand on her back, she promises that as long as Yeon-woo is at Domyeonji, her problem is now their problem, too. In a dimly lit room, one of Yoon-suk's men confirms his prediction was correct. They've located Yeon-woo in her hometown. With an air of calm control, Yoon-suk lights a cigarette, the flame illuminating his cold expression and the intricate tattoos covering his arm. His subordinate asks what he plans to do about her. "What do you think?" Yoon-suk says, his voice flat. "I'm going to take her back to Seoul." The man brings up a problem, mentioning that outsiders aren't allowed in Domyeonji. Yoon-suk's hand tightens, slamming his glass onto the table as he summons someone by name, Hong-suk. A confident smirk plays on Yoon-suk's lips as he holds a cigarette. He declares that they just have to make Yeon-woo come out of hiding. Though his man is skeptical, Yoon-suk's resolve is absolute. He will force her hand. He slides a thick stack of cash across the table and issues a new order. Dig up information on Executive Director Nam Sung-hyun. Yoon-suk explains that he needs intel to go up against him, referencing a past incident with Yeon-woo that he must now handle properly to prove himself. In a dimly lit room, Yoon-suk leans back with a sinister smile, a cigarette held loosely in his tattooed hand. He gives himself 1 week. He scoffs at the thought of Yeon-woo, confident that she is now in serious trouble. Later, as the sun sets over the tranquil village, Yeon-woo sits with an elder, her expression pained. She asks how the woman knew she was being chased. The elder explains that she saw a disreputable-looking man asking for her. Yeon-woo apologizes for the trouble, and the woman agrees, remarking that this kind of disturbance is a first for Domyeonji. The manager eyes Yeon-woo with sharp suspicion, noting she should have caught on when Yeon-woo claimed not to have a phone. She declares that while she won't believe every word, she understands the world has its share of nasty people. Noticing Yeon-woo's hands trembling, the manager suddenly grabs her shoulders, shaking her firmly. She commands Yeon-woo to stand straight, insisting no one would dare step foot in Domyeonji to harm her. As they walk, her tone hardens again, warning Yeon-woo to keep this a secret from everyone, especially Executive Director Nam Sung-hyun. A soft, appreciative smile touches Yeon-woo's lips as she shares a quiet moment with the manager. Elsewhere, the sharp screech of tires cuts through the silence as a luxury car pulls into a garage. Song Hyun emerges, his expression all business as he strides purposefully into his office. An employee stands before his desk, nervously trying to get his attention. Snapping out of a deep thought, Song Hyun finally responds. The man asks if he reviewed a company list, but Song Hyun's distracted gaze reveals he hasn't. He simply takes the papers, his mind clearly somewhere else entirely. A heavy sigh escapes Song Hyun, his mind unable to focus on work. He walks toward the traditional estate, questioning when this strange, unfamiliar feeling began. The closer he gets, the more this emotion he has never allowed himself to feel spreads through him like watercolor. The quiet air is filled with the rhythmic scrape of a twig broom sweeping over the ground. In the distance, bathed in the warm, golden light of the setting sun, Yun-woo stands peacefully cleaning the courtyard. Song Hyun steps slow as he approaches, his gaze fixed entirely on her. The soft scrape of the broom halts as Yun-woo notices Song Hyun approaching. A faint blush warms her cheeks as she says she'll be finished soon. But his gaze is fixed on her face, and he quietly notes that she looks like she's been crying. She stammers, caught off guard. Song Hyun's expression softens as he admits he'd been wondering about her, but now he understands. The warm evening air thickens around them. He doesn't press for why she was upset, accepting her silent pain as something he now knows he must shield. Yun-woo clutches the broom, her voice trembling as she insists it's a personal matter he should ignore. Song Hyun's intense gaze doesn't waver. He dismisses her plea, stating firmly that he already saw everything. She tries to build a wall, mentioning employee privacy, but his words cut through her defenses. He tells her she looks so fragile, like she'd crumble at the slightest touch. A muscle in his hand twitches, a sign of his inner turmoil. The sight of her distress is driving him to distraction. Yun-woo's shoulders slump as she quietly admits how hard life has been. Yun-woo's voice is heavy with self-blame as she admits feeling like she's lived her life all wrong. But Song Hyun's voice, both firm and gentle, cuts through her despair. He leans closer, the warm evening light softening his sharp features. He refutes her confession, assuring her that she is living well and will continue to live better than anyone. A soft smile touches his lips as he makes a promise. He will be her undeniable proof. Tears well in Yun-woo's wide eyes, her chaotic heart shaken by his powerful, unexpected vow. A question hangs in the air, asking if she can just settle down as if nothing will happen. Yun-woo's face flushes at the memory of Yun-suk's smooth voice. He thanks her for turning his hesitation into a resolution, his fingers gently tilting her chin up. The unsettling moment fades into the quiet night. Elsewhere, Song Hyun sits in a darkened room, his expression severe as he speaks on the phone. He requests information not on President Cha Gil-wook, but on his son. With cold resolve, he utters the name, Cha Yun-suk. The cool air from the refrigerator does little to soothe Song Hyun. With a towel draped over his shoulders, he takes a long drink, but the unease remains. Thoughts of Yun-woo consumed him through the long hours. He wonders if she slept well or if she cried in her sleep. Her tear-streaked face replayed in his mind, making the night feel like a stifling, restless midsummer heatwave. As the sun finally rises, he buttons his shirt before the mirror, a new resolve hardening his expression as he gets ready for the day. Yun-woo moves quietly through the house, her steps soft on the traditional wooden floors. From a doorway, Song Hyun watches her with sharp eyes, wondering why she is up so early. He specifically told her to rest, insisting he would handle the cleaning himself. With his resolve hardening, he rolls up his sleeves and steps into the study where she tidies. His voice is firm as he says, "Good morning." Yun-woo startles at his sudden presence, turning to face him. Her eyes widen as a faint blush warms her cheeks. Flustered, Yun-woo asks how long he's been standing there. Song Hyun's gaze remains steady as he asks if she managed to get any sleep. As she nervously answers, his eyes drift to a white envelope on the desk. A letter, he asks quietly. Panic floods Yun-woo's face. Before she can stop him, Song Hyun snatches it. "No, give it back," she cries, lunging forward. He raises it high out of her reach. As she stretches for it, she loses her balance, stumbling right into him, their closeness stealing the air from her lungs. Pressed against his chest, Yun-woo cries out, her pleas lost in the fabric of his shirt. A knowing smirk plays on Song Hyun's lips as he holds the letter just out of her desperate reach. He calmly tells her to give up, warning that she'll fall if she keeps jumping. Her frantic struggle makes his own heart race. Unfolding the paper, his eyes catch the first line and his smile widens. The letter is addressed directly to him. "Wasn't this meant for me?" he murmurs, his voice laced with triumphant amusement. Song Hyun's eyes scan the letter, a sincere thank you from Yeonwoo for his unexpected kindness. His grip on her shoulder tightens gently as he murmurs her name, his voice low and close. He tells her he's genuinely moved by her words, the admission hanging in the air between them. The warmth radiating from him makes Yeonwoo's heart pound in her chest. Flushed and overwhelmed, she pushes lightly against him. "Please don't tease me," she pleads, insisting she means it. She tries to step back, but he stops her, his voice firm. "Ms. Ji Yeonwoo." Song Hyun's gaze softens, his voice a low whisper as he admits he missed her all night. He explains that seeing her was his only reason for stopping by, and now that he has, he must leave for work. As Yeonwoo processes his words, she realizes his visit was the true gift she received this morning. The tender moment shatters as the scene shifts to a tense office meeting. An associate informs Yoon-suk that a contract is at risk due to his private affairs, an issue directly involving him and Ms. Ji Yeonwoo. He suggests Yoon-suk look at the evidence for himself. The lawyer's documents reveal a dark history. 5 years ago, an identical incident occurred, showing a vulnerable Yeonwoo standing alone in the ring. She wasn't the first person to be relentlessly pursued by Yoon-suk. A quick flashback shows him smirking, utterly untouchable thanks to his powerful father, CEO Cha Gil-wook, who hired a top-tier legal team. With the slam of a gavel, a few sheets of paper cleared his son of all charges. The associate concludes that terminating Yoon-suk is difficult, dismissing the entire affair as a private matter. Song Hyun sits in his office, his gaze sharp and unyielding as he questions lawyer Shin. He gets straight to the point, asking for the maximum sentence for criminal harassment. The lawyer cautiously explains that for someone like Yoon-suk, a prison sentence is highly unlikely. At most, he'd face a fine. A cold smirk plays on Song Hyun's lips. He dismisses the idea of a fine, calling it pocket change. He then reveals his true, chilling objective. A penalty large enough to tear the very foundations of Yoon-suk's family down, leaving the lawyer utterly stunned. In his office, lawyer Shin reviews the papers and nods, giving his full agreement. Later, at a brightly lit, traditional restaurant, Yoon-suk dines with old classmates. The manager fusses over them, bringing endless plates of food. His friends call out to him as young master, and he smirks, lifting a glass of wine. Just then, his attention is caught by a nearby table. A man casually asks his companion if Yeonwoo is coming, mentioning she works there. The smirk on Yoon-suk's face disappears instantly, his expression hardening. His hunt is over. Yoon-suk sips his wine as one of the men at his table laments that Yeonwoo won't be able to make it. Disappointment ripples through the group. Just then, the door to the private room slides open, and Yeonwoo appears, offering a quiet apology for her intrusion. Her old classmates erupt in delighted shouts, calling her name. Yoon-suk freezes, his eyes widening in shock. A sudden, overwhelming warmth rushes through him, and his heart begins to pound fiercely in his chest. Confused, he presses a hand to his shirt, wondering if he's had too much to drink. And that wraps up this part. If you watch till the end, you're a legend, and I truly appreciate you. These videos take late nights, focus, and passion to create, so knowing you're here makes it all worth it. If you enjoyed the ride, love the drama, or just live for epic manhwa like I do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell because the next dark twist, it's coming faster than you think.